Okay, today we are going to do estimating mean when standard deviation is unknown. So what they usually give you is the sample standard deviation, which is the S of X. When mean is unknown, usually standard deviation is unknown. When mean and standard deviation unknown, we use what's called the t distribution. The t distribution. The t distribution is the mean distribution minus the population mean over the sample standard deviation over the square root of n. We truthfully do not use this formula, but I like to give it. Degree of freedom is this is the number of free choices left after a sample statistic, such as the mean, is calculated. So we take the sample size and we minus 1, and we minus 1. The margin of error for this is E equals t distribution confidence interval s divided by the square root of n. If we do the margin of error, we would use the t distribution table, which we're not going to do. The mean is the lowest interval after finding the t distribution. But like I said, the t distribution table is in the back of the book, but at this point, we're not going to really pay that much mind to it. What we are going to do is we're going to find the confidence interval, which is stat test 8. We're going to highlight stats and we're going to enter the data. So let's turn to page 391 and we're going to do number 16. We're going to do number 16. So if you look at page 391, number 16, we're talking about a candy store, and with some interest in running your own business and a decent credit rating, um, you can probably get a bank loan on startup costs for franchises such as Candy Express. So they give you the data, and then if when you turn the page, they also in A, it says use a calculator with mean and sample standard deviation keys to verify that the mean distribution is 106.9 and the sample standard deviation is 29.4. So we go by what they have. We can put in the information to get the same data, but truthfully, I don't. What happens is I go into stat test 8. I put in the 90% confidence interval. I put in the mean distribution and the sample size, and we get our interval. So this truthfully is $88,000 and $125,000, just so you know what we're talking about. And then we do the interpretation that says we are 90% confident that the computed interval is one that contains the population mean startup for Candy Store franchise. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go into population proportion. Population proportion. Estimating the p hat, that's the little caret that's on your calculator in the binomial distribution. So remember that we did binomial distribution where we found n is the number of trials, r is the number of successes, p is the probability of success, and q is the probability of failure. Binomial to normal, if n times p is greater than 5 and n times q is greater than 5, then we have a p hat. Usually they'll tell you population proportion. So p hat is just taking the r over n and getting an answer. That is your point estimate for p. The q is 1 minus the p hat. All right, 1 minus the p hat. Let's turn to page 405 and let's do example 13a. On 13, we're talking about a random sample, which is your N of 5,222 permanent dwellings on the entire Navajo Indian Reservation. Showed that 1619 were traditional Navajo Hogans. The 1619 is your R. So we're going to find the point estimate. It says let P be the proportion of all permanent dwellings on the entire Navajo reservations that are traditional Hogans. Find the point estimate for P. So you would do 1619 over 5222 and you get 0.3100. To find the Q hat, you just do 1 minus 0.3100. Then they ask you to find the 99% confidence interval for P give a brief interpretation. So we do point stat test A for the population proportion, which is here, confidence interval, stat test A. Your X is your R. Your X is your R. And the margin of error is your p hat minus your proportion. But again, we really don't cover that. We really just concentrate on the point estimate and the confidence interval. The point estimate and the confidence interval. And then on 13C, it would say check your requirements, which we won't cover right at this point. If we go back to page 391, and let's just stay on 405. I'm sorry about that. I just realized I wanted to go back. Page 405, let's look at 14. 14 says find the point estimate. So your R was 360, your M was 592. So we're going to do 360 over 592, which is 0.608. UQ hat is 1 minus 0.608, which is 0.392. On B, it says find the confidence interval, which was 0.56878 is less than P, which is less than 0.64743. We are confident that 95% that the probability of potsherds is between 57% and 65%. Then it says check requirements, and that's what I did up here. 592 times 0.61 is 361, and 592 times 0.39 is 231. These two are both greater than 5, so it is a population proportion. What I'm going over right now is the homework that I assigned, but because we don't have class, so I just wanted to go over it as well. On page 391, going back up to 15, A is to verify, B is to do stat test 8, and then C is your interpretation. The same thing for 13. They ask you to verify and then do the confidence interval. All right. So if you have any further questions, you could go back into the notes again. Thank you.